Welcome to the In Season podcast, rated R for language.
None of us are doctors or neurologists. The things you're about to hear are opinions of people living with epilepsy or seizures. These are firsthand experiences. Epilepsy can cause speech problems, and the medications are hard to pronounce. So please bear with me.
Epilepsy can cause bad memory, so some stories will be repeated. I'm Pookie. Get ready.
I got something, you guys. It says, is it possible to become smart again if you stop having seizures? I finally found a nice medication cocktail that's preventing my seizures, at least so far. I've been having seizures for 4 years now. My cognition has decreased so much. I used to be smart, and now my brain can't operate as well. The brain fog is also crazy, not to mention the bad memory. Is it the case that the seizure synapses will get replaced by normal synapses?
No.
I mean, I would
No.
say learning differently.
Everyone learns differently. Just learn how it's easy for you to learn again. That's what I do.
At the same time, you got to accept that the memory or the information that you do learn might not
Yeah.
stick. So
Yeah, you're
stimulating
also
more senses with that same information, learning not only like read the manual first, but then act it out kind of thing,
Mhm.
use more senses to learn the same information is kind of how I've had to adjust.
and just accept that, some parts of your brain are now a little different. And that's a hard thing to accept. But once you do get over that, it's really easy to find things. Not really easy. Let me not say that at all. It becomes easier to find things that you are good at and that you can do with your diagnosis. But I feel like I'm getting dumber every day. But sometimes I surprise myself and I'm like, wow, today you were smart. So some days are just dumb days, and some days your brain does work, but try to be easy on yourself.
Since I have had no seizures in that amount of time that this person is talking about, I don't feel particularly sharp, but I don't think I've been out in the real world for that long. I think you just have to build new pathways in your brain. And I don't think I've been doing that. I think I've let myself down in that manner.
So it's
We
never
have to
too
build
late. What do you want to learn?
anything. I think that's the question. How do you build new pathways? Is it a manner of doing it socially, physically, um, emotionally? All those manners?
All right, so
Uh,
start with crochet and then go out and score a date.
And seizure salad first. We get our bank first. Okay.
We're
So-
trademarking that.
So of course, my chime in, this annoying science girl, is that the brain is as malleable as it can be if you consider amino acids and protein as well as healthy fats. So this can help in many different ways across the realm of what you need with your brain, whether you want it to be mental and emotional, and of course, physical is what we're aiming for. But it's mostly just you attempting to do what you need to do, you feel like, and learning will help with that. I unfortunately underestimated and kind of was resistant to changing, but mindfulness is a huge thing. Like mindfulness is a good thing. Like we got to turn our brains off, and I feel like that helps at a certain extent. And like we talked about the last time, your vagus nerve system, that's huge influence on how we process things. And that's also what's the really big thing about our seizures come from. And so, like, again, there's neurons only found 3 parts in your body: heart, stomach, brain. And that's where the nerve is connected. So those 3 things are going to also be connected when you build towards what you need to. And so the main thing is just remember it's malleable. I tried to take Japanese this past semester. I just signed up for fun. Like I'm already done with school. I have an MBA. And I just told my teacher after the end of it, I was like, I didn't really need this course. And I have a family emergency. Just give me a seat. And she was like, what the hell? But yeah, just try to do what you can, where you can, like how, if you don't mind me saying, mark your name. He's over here playing the piano. I need to go build my easel to paint. You got to do something that actually stimulates your brain in a calm way.
When
So
I was to add on to that, I asked my mom and I haven't been talking, so I asked her before we started talking. We started not talking, but my I believe my aunt and uncle were there as well, and they were talking about like just doing stuff and whatnot, and they always try to kind of like hide that they're going to different states or countries from like me and my mom because we're not wealthy and we're not high class like that. But that doesn't affect me. I don't care. Go to Greece. I don't care. Good for you. Enjoy the food. That's what I would want to do. Enjoy the food. Have fun. If I could do it, I would. Go for it. But anyways, I'm getting off track. But they I I said at some point because they were saying something and I was like, don't you guys ever just like sit down with yourself and like just sit there for a little bit and just like calm down and think and like just sit with your head? And they were like, I mean, yeah, like with TikTok or like I'll scroll on Facebook. And I'm like, no, I mean, like just sit there with yourself, not your phone, not like sit there with yourself and just something with you and yourself and it's just you and your soul and your body. And they're like, I wish. And I'm like, what do you mean you wish? You literally have so many opportunities to do that. And you're saying, I wish, like you can't sit there and do something that's just for you and your mind and your body animal. Instead, you pick up your phone and I'm sorry to be that person, but the phone doesn't help. It doesn't help. And comparison is the root of a lot of evil. And if you just sit there with yourself for a little bit and like just think and like be like, okay, but I did this and I have this, and this person doesn't struggle with what I struggle with, and I still did this, and you can be writing during it or drawing or playing the piano or playing the guitar, or you could just be, I prefer to just sit there and do nothing. I like to sit in like a kind of like a mindfulness pose. But like that's my version of mindfulness is just like sitting with myself in complete silence with nothing else going on. Because usually I need something playing all the time to fill up my head. But eventually you need a moment of like to come back to yourself and kind of sit with your body and understand your body for a moment. And I find that, if you find the type of day and uh whatever, you learn more about yourself and your body if you just sit there for like 15-20 minutes and just you don't have to close your eyes or anything. You just sit there in silence and think and just and you don't have to think about anything particular, any thought that comes in, just let it come in and then just go right off of it with anything else. And then when your mind is, you'll find that like 20 minutes has gone by and you feel like all these thoughts have just developed out of your brain and it feels nice, and then your brain is done and it feels like a moment of like of silence but loudness for your brain to get everything out that it can, if that makes sense. So sometimes just sitting with yourself in silence is nice. Anyways, that is my, sorry, kind of tangent. Sorry.
All right.
I agree. Like I said, it's underestimated, and I never did that. Like when I mentioned earlier that it would be freedom for me to lose intellectual decline, to be honest. But I need to not, that's kind of careless for me to say as well because I overthink. Like I overthink so much, and I think it is become from a place where I had to take care of myself and adults in my life since I was 6. So that's fun, right? But I have to learn to calm down. Like I recently had to relearn to breathe because I started reverse breathing and your posture and all these other things like stack, stack, stack. Like holistically, you have to look at your body. And so that's something I'm resetting and I'm trying to calm down and really just, like you said, Lufa, mindfulness, think about nothing. Like one thing I have worked on too is there was this thing where if you worry about something, you just write everything you're worried about, and it just kind of leaves your mind. You don't have to have a solution for it. Or another thing I've been learning to do is if you want to think on something and ruminate over it and just think on it over and over again, you'll say, I'll get to it later. And your brain thinks you will, and you'll never have to. So you can trick yourself, y'all. There's hope for us after all. But
Well, and it's not like an overnight thing either, because I, like, at the end of my days, I'll just, like, sit there and I'll be like, I'll just sit there and think about this one interaction I had for an hour and think about all the different ways or how they reacted and how I reacted and what this could possibly mean, what that, and I just think about every portion of my day, and I just over almost like it's a movie, and it becomes too much. So I find that if I sit there and I think about, I start off with nothing, and then I just let my brain kind of wander off and pick off the different points. Oh, but that tea looked really. Oh, and there's also that color that I like, and I also liked it, and it just kind of pitter pats so that the overthinking is like a minimizer. But overthinking is hard. That's something that does not just go away, unfortunately.
I think that it's just a good start to try to rest your brain. What is unless it's a TBI, from what I understand, but TBIs that still think have it, we have overactive
Hey, can I
neurons.
have that?
Yeah, so we have to figure out some kind of way to rest them. And also look up little things too that could be possibly influencing your seizures because I don't know, gluten intolerance can be 1.8 times people who are gluten intolerant also have epilepsy. So yeah, so just think of like holistically really look at your body. Like what really works when it's not with itself, right? So I just think that's something that we have to really consider. And it's so hard because the way we've been taught, the way we've been trained, like most of our value comes from how useful and how hard we can work, but that's hurting us, right? We can't be available all the time. Oh, so cute, Kate. Oh, so cute. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Sorry, y'all. I used to be a child care worker too. Okay. So yeah, we have to look at things as how they are part of us and what we do and how we do it. Like, please, y'all, it's self-care. It's self-care. It may not heal us, but it's so crucial to our well-being. It is. And I'm saying this because I don't do it. So this is my gentle reminder to myself.
What Lufus said about taking a minute to, or a few minutes to go over your day. About 50 years ago, my ex-wife and I went through EST, which I believe is still around in some format. EST was Earhart Seminars training. And when we went, it was like about 500 people inside a room at Madison Square Garden. And every once in a while, the, I guess, therapist, counselor, coach would say, In 10 seconds, we're going to take a 5-minute break and just sit in your seat and think about your day. And this is something you should do every day. Just take some time out, think about your day, think about what you did, and if you could have done it better. And I've kind of stuck to that, and I've been doing it now for, like I said, 50 years. And I mean, it was really a crazy scene in there. You had 500 people crying at the same time. And you couldn't go to the bathroom. You couldn't leave your seat. It was fun.
Okay, one last thing is you all heard fight or flight, right? Everybody knows fight or flight. Have y'all learned rest and digest yet?
No.
Uh-oh. Y'all know rest and digest, y'all.
No, I don't.
Raise their hand. No, okay, don't encourage me. Twisted raise their hand.
Yes.
Well, also, one thing was, what is reverse breathing? I meant to say that.
So most people aren't breathing correctly. You have to have a diaphragmatic breathing. Oh my God, y'all, really? Do I have to be this girl? I was trying to escape from being this.
Breathing with your chest and breathing with your belly.
There we go. Lupa got it.
There's a difference between breathing with your chest and breathing with your belly, and you want to breathe from where it's deeper. You want to get that full breath from your belly.
Your chest shouldn't lift when you breathe.
You shouldn't be breathing with your chest. You should be breathing with your belly. I know that because I'm a swimmer.
Yes, thanks, Lupa. I know I got backup. Okay, so rest
It's
and
like
digest.
speaking with your diaphragm versus speaking with your throat. Right.
Yes, same thing.
I knew that because I used to be a death metal singer.
That sounds dope.
That's so cool.
Right.
That way of life, y'all, again, holistic stuff, is that you have fight or flight, but your body has an opposite way of being, which is rest and digest. And that means everything you're doing is in your parasympathetic nervous system. It's not things that you should be motioning forward to be action, right? It should be slowly happening behind you, right? Like you're breathing when you're digesting food. And when you digest, I'm not talking about just food, it's also processing your thoughts as well. Like Jeff was saying, taking 5 minutes out of your day to reflect on things, that's a certain way of digesting as well. So yeah, and I'm hungry. That's why I'm up and I'm off cam, but I'm here.
Yeah, I got this app that pops up every few hours on my phone that tells me to tell it how my day is going. I started it because I thought it would be helpful, but sometimes I don't want to do it at the times it pops up, like a few seconds ago. So yeah, where were we at again?
All right. So there's
years ago.
that's cool. There's another question here. Somebody's asking, every time I take my medicine and I go out and get overstimulated, go to a rave or a club, I end up just feeling like I'm drunk basically. And I don't know if it's like an epilepsy thing, but I've been on that medication before I was even diagnosed. Lamotrigine 150 and Vimpat 50. Is this something I should talk to my doctor, or is this a common side effect, or is this just the overstimulated type of thing because I've only gained that after being diagnosed?
Talk to your doctor because I'm on Lamictal and I haven't heard of that yet, but yeah, the overstimulated part. I don't get
Yeah, saying vertigo
overstimulated
that's
much.
not coordinated.
I do peaceful things like painting.
Yeah. Or like, if you do want to go out and socialize, if you are like a socialite, then maybe find like the specific type of scene for your social life, because there's
Pickleball.
clubbing and then there's like niche clubs, you know, for like niche groups of people because they don't want to be thrown into that one club scene. Like personally, if you were to throw me into a random nightclub and I found some random dude trying to like grind up on me, I would be freaked out and he would be punched in the face because I'd be like, what are you doing? But you know, I forget I'm in the nightclub, but also don't do that. But I think I would feel more comfortable like for me if I were to go to a nightclub or something, I think it would be one for like my specific targeted area of people that I would find myself more aligned with, whether that be like queer, like sometimes like rock or emo, but maybe find like your specific place because I think that would really help. Because it doesn't have to be like a nightclub or anything. You can still do fun things like that or go to like I just saw someone have like a little painting party with music playing and stuff. So it's basically like what Pookie's doing, but like boop, 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 boop. You know, so just I think finding your calling.
Jamar, don't do that.
No. I had something. I sit here and do like small peaceful things. Like you see, I was just painting. And for some reason the other day I made a coaster and I like it. Anyhow, got something that says, why is epilepsy still rarely talked about in the public? It really surprises me. I have temporal lobe epilepsy. I had a temporal lobectomy in 2020 and have been seizure-free since so far. I continue to suffer from memory and learning problems as a result from both the seizures and surgery, I'm guessing. Anyway, I'm having a really tough time understanding why epilepsy is rarely discussed or even acknowledged in the public media, etc. I understand there's a stigma, but still, there's zero excuse for the lack of seizure first aid taught in schools. But maybe it's better for now that I'm older. There are so many diseases that get so much attention and awareness and funding for research. Why can't epilepsy be one of them? I really wish more people understood how much this disease can destroy people's lives. Opinions. Come on, people. I don't know why it's not talked about. I say it all the time. That's why I do this, because, you know, nobody's going to talk about it. We will, and eventually somebody will see us talking about it. I figure it's more important than they think it is. Why would they talk about this for 10
I'll
hours?
just say, I mean, just the sheer amount of people we don't have. We're just a very small minority of people. First of all, I mean, we don't have that many people. I mean, and when you see other neurological diseases, I guess we don't get the sympathy that Parkinson's get. That sounds awful, but or it's not as famous as Lou Gehrig's disease or something. Yeah, well, I guess people just don't assume. That's part of the stigma. People don't assume epilepsy is that awful.
Or they
That's
think it's
Invisible.
only bad when you're having a seizure. They don't think about everything that comes along with epilepsy. They think it's just one seizure.
yes.
I think
Kind
they
of just swept away our disease. Yeah.
Because it's quote unquote not that bad.
For humans, seeing is believing. We're not walking around seizing. Unless you have focal aware, then that's different. But if they're not actually seizing, I mean, in front of, they don't have sympathy for it. And the thing about that I hate the most is that I've gotten advice from people who don't even know what a seizure is. So it's just like one of those hard things, because if they don't see it and they're not really going out to research and understand for themselves, they're not going to do it. And that's like most of the people in society.
I think maybe part of the problem is that epilepsy isn't a singular diagnosis on its own. That um, you you have people who have seizures because of a tumor or an abscess. You have people who have a traumatic brain injury. You have people who just have seizures out of the blue, and all of them get the word epilepsy, but epilepsy isn't really the exact like diagnosis in the sense of the precise singular cause of their problems. It's really more of an umbrella term for individuals, patients who are particularly prone to seizure activity. Particularly a specific form with the the brain waves, but you know, it's it's different from breast cancer. That's kind of easy to point to. Um, we've got brain stuff, and people kind of get brain stuff, but there's so much more beyond that, and going into that level of detail to every single person that you talk to is not something people are interested in so much. So I think that we're in a particularly unique situation where through social media for the first time, we're the first generation that really can communicate our particular experiences out to everybody directly, to the community. It's not just limited to only the people that I have immediate access to. We can send it out there. So I think that what we're doing here um, is important. I think that rather than looking at it as why isn't there more, I think we should look at it as let's make more discussion about epilepsy. Let's make more awareness. We have the tools.
Using our resources for good. Yes. And I also to add on top of that, I know not a lot of people like feeling like a test subject, and so it wouldn't be for everyone, but whenever I have like with my doctors and stuff, they always ask if like they can use it for like studies and stuff, and I'm always happy to be like, yes, please use what you find in my brain to help the future generation, because there's gonna be more of it, and they shouldn't have to suffer the way that we have when there are ways that there are to treat it. There probably are ways to treat it that we just don't know about. And so like, even with my therapist, she's got like a little intern that's learning or whatever, and I was like, this will be good for the intern because she can also see a side of yeah, Tony wants to make a point here too. He has to speak on the cat drama on Saturday on my therapy session. But he she she'll see a side of what's not of something that's not just mental health, but also like intertwined with a diagnosis that's not talked about a lot, and epilepsy, and how that also contributes very heavily to my mental state, and how the medications I'm on contribute to my mental state. And I think that's a really good thing for people in the mental health field to learn as well about. Because anything that has to do with the brain, I'm going to start to assume is going to affect you mentally. I'm just going to assume that, because it's starting in your brain, and most mental health things start in your brain. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing. So I was very happy when they asked if they could do that, because I am more than happy to help teach somebody a side of mental health that's not seen a lot or talked about or taught a lot about too. But yes, everything Mark said was spot on.
Anybody else have anything on that? We could pretty much move past it. We already know. We're trying to get it talked about. Okay, this one says, non-photosensitive people. Do you still avoid certain lights? Most people with epilepsy, me included, aren't photosensitive despite the stereotype. But I still try to avoid any kind of strobe light just in case. I wasn't going to a rave anyway, but I always try to look away if I'm in a car and the sun's shining through the window, through the trees, or a faulty light bulb is flashing. The question would be, do you guys still avoid certain lights? No. I tried to see what was what when I went to the concert. And yeah, eyes were wide open. A lot was going on and didn't bother me. And I told the girl next to me that I have seizures, and then I showed her my bracelet. Then I had to tell her, don't worry, I'm just letting you know I have seizures. The possibilities are endless. I told her, but I'm not gonna have a seizure. Don't say that. Don't think like that. And yeah, I had to tell her I don't have them that often for her to calm down. She had the look in her face, so much worry. As soon as I said I have seizures and I'm next to you. Angel, you had something?
You had a great time, but she was worried about you the entire time.
I was gonna
she
say
was all right.
no. I was gonna say no, I don't avoid certain lights, but certain lights do bug me. But they don't send me into a seizure. They just bug me. Sometimes the way the sunlight shines directly into my eye, or certain things like BR lights, the redness. Yeah, I avoid those, but that's just because it gives me headaches, and the headaches will stress me out, and I don't want to be stressed.
Have you heard of Todd syndrome?
Come again?
Have you heard of Todd syndrome?
No.
It's
Me personally, no.
it's aphasia. It's when
Is this the one you're referring to that's also called Alice in Wonderland syndrome?
no.
Oh, okay.
It's when you become, after the seizure, when you become paralyzed up to 30 minutes to an hour. You can move.
That sounds like it sucks.
I
They're
have
alive?
That sounds usual. That sounds like a typical how long it takes for you to actually come back. I mean, if the seizure's going on for more than 2 minutes, that's about how long it takes for me.
Isn't there like the post-ictal state and stuff where you're like not fully awake and aware, but like for me, like I could be going on and on about something, but eventually I fall asleep and then I wake up and then I actually wake up from the seizure. But there's a point after the seizure where I I'm still not awake, but to someone that doesn't understand what a seizure is, it may look like I am. But I'm not sure about being like not able to move. I do fall asleep and I don't wake up until I wake up, which if someone also didn't know what a seizure was and didn't test my heart, they'd probably think I'm dead. But
because I remember stepping out on the porch and looking at the sun, and there it was. It triggered me, and as soon as I turned my head to my husband and stepped on a nail or something, I got a seizure. And it lasted 30 seconds to a minute. And once again, a patient. I got Down syndrome and I couldn't move.
So does the paralysis extend to, like breathing or functions like that, or it's just the voluntary movements that don't happen?
Since my stroke, the hemiparesis and all that shit, I got my weak side and my dominant side, and bless you. Yep.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like it takes some. I mean, is it workouts? Like, how do you adapt to that? Is there any kind of recovery? It's more like something you just have to be prepared for.
No.
Okay. So somebody else was talking about concerts here, saying that they're going to a concert in a couple weeks. Since we have floor seats, standing tickets, sister's like really worried that something might happen to me from exhaustion or stress. They emailed the arena. They don't say where it's happening. But they said I emailed the arena and they said it's cool. They'll provide accommodations. It's a pretty popular arena. Does anybody have any experiences? Because this person's just saying they're really scared. Their sister's stressed out. The first response says, I have 2 relevant experiences. I went to a metal show about 5 years ago before they were diagnosed. Not triggered by flashing lights. So it was the floor show at a metal concert. First act made their way towards the front. I became overheated and overwhelmed while they reset the stage for Deftones. Before I knew it, I was being held up by a friend while my husband got help from security. They made a path for us to take a break in the back of the arena. I was able to get appropriate help. Now that I'm more aware of my triggers, I would be much more careful to set myself up for success. We ended up switching with friends who wanted to be on the floor. We took their seats in the balcony. This was one of the experiences that made me wonder if something was wrong with me. At the time, I was wearing my Apple Watch, so I was able to look back over my vitals. Husband and I went to see Andrea Bocelli perform for Valentine's Day. He was in a boot from a stress fracture, so we sat in the ADA area of the arena. We had choice of two different balconies. They faced each other on the sides of the stage, so the view was semi-obstructed. We still had a nice time. It was fun to see the backstage action, have fun and listen to your body. So this person got ADA seats in the balcony. I don't know. Would you guys go balcony or floor? I would be personally concerned about like flipping over the balcony.
Do you have a disability card?
I mean, I qualify for disability Social Security, so I think they said I could get a handicap, parking permit or something, but I don't have any other cards besides that.
Do you, Pookie?
No, I don't. I'm on my third appeal at the moment. I have not been able to get disability, and yeah, it's just not working out.
Yeah, Courtney, my only advice would be to get a lawyer.
Yeah, I tried that. Yeah.
Okay, so just real quick, I literally thank God I saw it when I worked for my company. I checked off the long-term disability deductible. Lo and behold, I need it. I got it. But they're making me apply for disability with the government, whatever. So I was on hold for 40 minutes today and I was like, this shit gonna suck. Like, so that's my journey so far. So I'm not gonna talk about it now, but if y'all are willing to help me, I'm grand competition. I don't know the numbers on my name. That's how important I am to myself. But yeah, just feel free to message me on here because I'm so confused. Annie's always a big help. So yeah, disability is really confusing already.
All right, hope we can help. So nobody else has opinions on the concert thing?
With that
Mark, you're
one,
rocking
I
out
had
on your own.
something. I just
What
went to a
was-
concert and I didn't ask for accommodations. I was actually wondering what was going to happen. So I was kind of on guard, but I was there wondering. And I was like, yeah, I've been to the flashing strobe light thing they tried at the hospital and that didn't work. So I assumed I'd be good. And I'm here now. I'm good. Not everyone's going to be good. So I don't suggest it, but take a leap of faith. Try it yourself, but I don't suggest it. There was a lot of lights, fireworks, all kinds of stuff.
They put you in the ADA part where they don't allow people with they don't get to see the show, but they park you where the disability people are.
Oh, okay, so you're saying the only allowance is in parking, not where you're actually at, where you get to see the show. Or that definitely isn't better.
Yeah, I had floor seats, and I'd rather that than anywhere else. So, yeah, it worked out fine.
Where you don't see the light directly.
Okay, so kind of like
You
that other
know?
one who said they were on the side.
Uh-huh. Which I think it's better.
There you go. But hey, now that we got Super Sia here, let's get you that icebreaker.
Oh yeah, see the question is, what are things you do to make you feel good when you feel like shit?
Sleep. That's like my number one right now because I've been taking a lot of Nasalam, and every time I take it, I just pass out for like 3 or 4 hours, and then I wake up and I feel great. And so, yeah, sleep, number one.
Try taking some B12.
I haven't yet, but I do have it on hand. It's just that I bought a whole bunch of supplements like all at once, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do something good for myself." And then I took them all at once, and then I had a seizure. So, I'm gonna bring them with me to my follow-up next week, and ask the neurologist what he thinks about like how much I should take.
I know some of these medications take the B12 out of us, so I know that is what helps me replenish my B12, and it's helped the focals all
How
the way.
much do you take?
3,000 micrograms a day.
Okay. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll start at like a lower dose.
And if you get gummies, they're so much easier. You don't have to take them all day like pills and stuff.
Yeah, I do want to get
Shout
some
out to
gummies.
yeah, shout out to
Too many
Nature's
pills
Made.
already.
I'm not taking no more pills. And when you take gummies, it's so much easier. You can just do that and keep going on about your day. And have to
Hmm.
look for water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have like powders and stuff, and I have liquid, what's it called? Like the liquid, I can't think of the exact word right now, but it's the little bottles that come with the droppers and stuff. And I bought vitamin D, I think it was, iron, magnesium, and a few others along with B12, and then I think omega-3 too.
Okay,
Um,
promise I'm not trying to interrupt you. That is what I had, and I had seizures. I was
really?
omega-3s, I was taking B12, I was taking vitamin D3, I was taking a multivitamin, I was taking iron, and I had a seizure.
I wonder if it's like, yeah, it's confusing to me because like I used to take it years ago. Um, I
Well,
didn't really have much of an issue with it, but this was before I started having like, you know, TCs and stuff. But yeah, I just one day I just took it the first day that I got it, and then yeah, it just went straight into a seizure, and I was like, oh my God. And it was a really bad one too, because it was a TC cluster, so I had like 4 or 5 TCs in a row.
what meds are you taking right now?
I'm taking Keppra.
Okay.
Yeah, and I am starting to hate it like really bad right now.
You just started Keppra?
No, I've been taking it for I think it's been about 3.5 months, I think, almost 4 months. But like at first it was really good, and then I started to build a tolerance to it, so they upped the dose, and it happened like really fast.
Mhm.
Um, and they haven't upped my dose again anytime recently, so I want to get off of it because I'm noticing that recently I've been getting like way more aggressive, and I've been seeming like really careless, and kind of selfish, and that isn't like me. And so I feel kind of like out of body when I'm acting like that, and it's really uncomfortable.
Um, but yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't really mean to interrupt you, but yeah, I was having the same issue with the vitamins and multivitamins. I'm sorry, not the vitamins. Well, yeah, vitamins and the supplements in general. So I have to be careful. I just started over with my multivitamin only right now. And I think
Yeah,
I'm
I think I might try like maybe just the B12 on its own. Um, but everything else, yeah, I want to like double check with the neuro because I'm a little scared to take it again. I know I need it.
I like to treat my medication like I do my skincare. The less you have in your routine, the better results, and the more you'll know what's causing the problems and what's causing the acne. So if you kind of a correlation, because I used to be on so many medications for my mental health and none of it was working, and I'm like, if I'm on 8+ medications right now with vitamins and nothing's working, then there's probably something more to this, and it's probably the mixture of the medications are not helping. So definitely going slow and adding medications on very slowly and one at a time is super important. That's what I've learned in my 20 years of being medicated.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
So
it
welcome
does.
to Irish Fluky. What's up? We have
Welcome.
a thing here. Is this your first time?
Second.
Oh, okay. Well, there goes the memory. But you know how it goes now. Go ahead for the icebreaker.
I think he came before you came. One time he didn't really say much. I don't think he said anything at all. Actually, yeah, Ann was here. He said he was Irish. That's all he said.
I
I
wouldn't
remember
have
you're from
guessed.
Ireland, and yeah, you take Kepra. I remember that because I edited that video. Maybe that's why I remember it. But how you doing? I think your screen might be frozen. Maybe it's me.
I think it's frozen.
Okay, good thing it's not my service.
I gotta go.
On the bright side, it's not mine. Irish, whenever you're not frozen.
Oh, oh, oh,
Oh, there you go. Yeah. The icebreaker was, what do you do when you feel like shit? What do you do to make yourself feel better when you feel like shit? Does anyone ever take no for having epilepsy on forums to avoid issues? Just want to say firstly that I would always declare my epilepsy in situations where I may be in danger to others. For instance, driving. However, I found for things such as getting piercings or laser hair removal that I have to say if I have epilepsy and need to be 2 years free to get them. I can be 1 year seizure free to drive, but need to be 2 years to get laser hair removal. Doesn't make sense. For that reason, I chose to take no sometimes on these forums, as I know these won't be triggers for me. And if by chance something did happen to me, I would never blame them for anything. Does anyone else do this? It's hard enough sometimes to get over the counter painkillers when they ask you, are you on any medication or have any illnesses? And I just want to get a headache tablet. Does anyone ever
where does
take
this
no?
person live?
Yeah, I
They
was
did
gonna
not
say that
say.
doesn't sound like
This does
America.
not sound like America. Yeah,
I mean,
because
why would you have to be
why
seizure free for
2 years
6
for a
months a year
piercing?
for body piercings? Like,
That's seems a
well,
little.
no, I would check no for that one, but
I mean, I see what they're
yeah.
saying with that, definitely.
Annie made a good point about how our muscles and stuff tear apart if we have a tonic colonic. Imagine you getting pierced and you're shaking and your nose rip off, or they pierce themselves.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Like Lufa said, I wouldn't blame them for something like that if it happened.
Yeah, but it sounds like
Well,
Yeah.
kind of
and I've gotten piercings and stuff. I mean,
Um,
well, I've had my septum and I've done piercings myself, but uh there's never been a I've never had to answer if I've had epilepsy on.
Yeah.
That's never been a
Yeah,
question on, I
their
don't know where
insurance
they
might have a
live.
problem. Even if you don't blame them, it might come back to hurt them just having something like that happen.
Yeah, I
So,
mean I feel like if you're going, I feel like this is in a different country for sure though, because if you're having a piercing done in where I've been at least, there's many signs and stuff to let you know, like you may pass out. Um,
yeah,
and we have things to accommodate this,
I've
but this,
done it.
we do not take liability. The only thing they have to take like liability for and whatnot is cleanliness. If
Yeah,
you're getting a lot of people with infections and whatnot, but that's completely different than having a seizure if you're getting your ears pierced or your belly
yeah.
button
I
pierced.
mean,
Like I feel like it's a
isn't that
little,
what the waiver is
yeah, like you
for? Most
sign
of the waiver
something.
is like if you have
Yeah,
any sort
you
of medical incident while we're doing whatever, then, tough titties.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like this is in a different country. I don't know.
Yeah,
This has to be in that or some state that
I felt like UK
really
for
doesn't
some
want
reason.
you.
It sounds like if any country was gonna regulate how long you have to be seizure free for body piercings, it'd
Two
be the
years is a
UK.
lot.
Yeah. They didn't say that for the piercings, though. The
For
two
laser hair
years.
removal?
Yeah, that though. I mean, that is
Don't
nuts.
you have to go in there with those glasses on? Like,
Yeah, maybe the
Yeah.
laser might be triggering for
Yeah, I
some
mean maybe
people, or they might
Photosensitive.
imagine that it is. Somebody had a seizure and filed a lawsuit, and so they've got some big.
but if you already have a diagnosis of epilepsy, your your case isn't going to do very well. I mean, not to burst your
Unless it's
bubble.
another country's laws that you're
Yeah,
being judged under.
yeah, because that sounds like I didn't like the bridal makeup I had done, so I have to do it myself now and post it to TikTok, complain about it.
Some places are terrified of lawsuits, though, even in the state, even in this state to state, city to city, they are terrified of lawsuits. So it wouldn't surprise
I was
me.
gonna get a tattoo that says epileptic so I can stop writing it with Sharpie on my arm when I go into the pool.
Yeah,
there
that
are
would
people.
be, that's an interesting paradox. Can you get a medical alerts epilepsy tattoo if
Yes,
you haven't been seizure free long enough to get the tattoo? But you need the tattoo in order to make sure that you're seizure free long enough.
Do you have to be seizure free in order to get a tattoo? Because I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of
No,
that
this
either.
was this was
Yeah.
the question
That's
of
why
some
that's
other
Oh,
why
right.
country.
that's why I automatically thought this has to be a different country because I've seen people with tattoos that say like seizure or epileptic, or I've seen those tattoos on people, so that must mean you're actively having seizures if you have it on you as a warning or other things. But
I don't think anybody paid attention to me because maybe I got it in a garage that was a little different. There was no forms.
yeah, I don't yeah, there were no I've never had to check off being epileptic for a tattoo.
I've never checked
Um
off anything for tattoos. Like
no,
telling these
you
people,
just you gotta I mean, I've had to sign the little waiver thing. I've gotten tattoos done, but yeah, I mean, unless you got like some skin condition or something,
yeah,
but
then
I mean, if you think that the buzzing and the pain of it is gonna send you into a seizure, then I probably would just think with your brain and be like, let's not get a tattoo. But if it's not,
Buzzing sound be a trigger? Is that something that happens for some people?
I mean, the repeated buzzing going off in a tattoo machine kind of pisses me off. I don't know why, but it doesn't cause me to have a seizure. I just don't like the constant buzzing noise of it. It feels loud and invasive.
Yeah.
I don't mind the tattoo part. It's just the sound that I don't like. It's more painful.
You put in ear pods, or could
Yeah,
you do
I
it?
listen to music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't, because then it doesn't hurt. But the sound is just like, zzz, like shut up. Oh my God, I get it. Please. Getting a tattoo,
Right.
I understand. I get it.
Yes. I
Sound-
got one of the comments here from that question about telling people things. Someone said all the time they don't differentiate between forms of epilepsy or the frequency. So they just can't refuse to treat you without requesting clarification. If I know my epilepsy won't affect whatever I'm doing, I'm always ticking no. I don't want someone else deciding for me whether my epilepsy is an issue or not. Someone else says, yes, again, not where I can put myself or others at serious risk, but I'm 3 years seizure free and I only had nocturnal seizures. I take all my meds on time, no exceptions. I am writing down I have epilepsy to get my ear pierced when I already have 21 piercings. Nice. Things like that, I don't write it down. My ears are already pierced. I don't think I filled out any forms.
I think with the amount of times that we get poked by needles, I think a tattoos and a piercing is really not that much.
Right. Yeah, because I had a
Like
lot
the
of emergency.
surgeries are like pretty, I don't know. I mean, I know you're not awake for it, but it seems pretty invasive at the end of the day.
Like the laparoscopic
Yeah, like,
thing,
Oh
that
God, those are horrible.
I
Yeah.
mean, they didn't give me any sort of pain management pill when I got my IUD placed, and that was the most excruciating thing in my entire life.
Can't you ask for pain medication, or
I
did they just not
did.
give you the option?
They told me to get Tylenol or
Oh my
leave.
God.
Yeah. So, honestly, if a petition could be made to have, how can you get laughing gas for cheek filler or lip filler, but nothing for getting someone like literally putting a scissor into your uterus? Like it's like what? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. It
No,
doesn't
that
make
doesn't make
sense.
any
I
sense
might
at
as well
all.
go and get my lips filled and
I
then
mean,
come and get the thing done and get the lips uninjected just, because I didn't want the injection in the first place. Just need something.
I don't see how Tylenol would even have any effect on that in the first
It
place
doesn't.
anyway.
It doesn't.
It's not for that.
Like what? Said Tylenol or Aleve. I was like, what are you talking about?
I'd say
So
maybe like
basically, you're telling me to suffer, and she's like, yeah, okay. Good thing it lasts until I'm 30. This thing better last until I'm 30.
I think I might skip out on mine.
Yeah. So
Worth
what was I
it,
gonna
but
say?
it's not worth the experience. If that makes sense.
I got something here. We need opinions here because this person seems like they need help. It says, so are we all gonna die? I have generalized epilepsy and I can't work, so I'm gonna lose my Medicaid. With this new big beautiful bill cutting Medicaid, will I lose my coverage or will my coverage get worse? If I don't get my meds, then I have seizures. If I don't get my depression and anxiety meds, then I get, you know what I mean. What's going to happen to us?
We don't know.
Yeah, I can't say. I don't know. I have some backups laying around, but that only lasts for so long. Anybody with Medicaid, any risk of losing your Medicaid? I wouldn't know what that's like.
I don't have Medicaid, and I don't know how you get it.
Me either. Top comment says the way it's rigged, from my understanding, it's the tax cuts for the rich are effective right away, while the Medicaid cuts don't kick in until after the midterms. Sneaky bastards. Somebody say something before I started.
I don't think the disabled will be cut right away. That's my
I
understanding.
think it's supposed to start in around 2026 is when it's supposed to be effective for Medicaid and things like that. It's not effective right away, from my understanding either. But it would be good to get a better understanding for the future.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, it's not happening until next year. But that's still my DoorDasher's name is Toe. So hopefully everything comes as DoorDash. I just wanted to ask.
To answer your question, I think like people who are already on disability get a choice of Medicaid, Medicare, or they get to choose which one they want and stuff like that. It's the same thing as I think what do you call it? Not I'm losing the word right now.
Angel, I didn't have a choice.
Oh, you
I
didn't?
No, when I got disabled, they put me right on Medicare.
Yeah, I'm on Medicare. I'm not. I don't got disability, but I'm on Medicare.
There's a comment here, and it says rural hospitals are partially supported by Medicaid. With Medicaid slashed, the hospitals are in danger. Medical professionals move to where the jobs are. This could deplete the local economies, causing suffering and lack of health care. Health insurance doesn't matter if infrastructure isn't in place.
I just looked up something really quick. Cuts have been it'll reduce access to medical care. Any people with disabilities use medical care for fewer services or higher out-of-pocket costs. Home and community-based services at risk. Mental health and behavioral services will be cut. Medicaid is the largest funder of mental health services in the US, and they're going to cut a lot of psychiatric care. So that's devastating. Threats to transportation, medical equipment, strain on caregivers and family, and increased institutionalization.
It says, y'all want to come to Canada? Drugs are decently priced without insurance, and our insurance companies aren't restricted to certain clinics. I don't want to go to Canada. I love California. Something about it.
Don't like Canada? I'd love to go to Canada. Seems nice there.
Okay.
Someone else says, y'all want to come to South Africa? We have unions, forced pay leave when ill, can't discriminate on epilepsy, and drugs are quite cheaper. We also have excellent doctors in that private field. That my neurologist is American, though.
That's our one issue, is that Americans don't act. I think we be too entertained about what's happening in our government to actually do stuff. Like, yeah, unionize, all these other stuff. Like, we are hurting and we're dividing and conquering. And also, Canada, you can wait up to 2 years to get care. I have a friend now who's basically, her friend is waiting 5 years to get cancer treatment. And she's basically planning her funeral. So slow down on Canada wishes. But yeah. All right, y'all. Love y'all. I appreciate our community. I gotta go eat for real, or I'll be online or forever. Bye, y'all.
Bye,
Right.
Court.
See
Bye,
you later,
Court.
Court.
By court.
Something here says, what was your response after diagnosis? Diagnosed a month ago with TLA. Since I'm afraid to go anywhere without my wife. I don't want to be in public and have any issues pop up. I've always been a self-isolating person, but now I'm even more. I am a high school cross country and track coach, but I missed most of this past track season due to this. I'm afraid to be around kids or at a meet and have something happen, especially without my wife. I'm very forgetful now and not my energetic, positive self. Additionally, the Kepler has me all sorts of an emotional mess. Although I believe it's beginning to level out, I was also prescribed Zoloft. Now I lack energy and get tired, fatigued quickly. Is this normal initial response or is this the meds? How did you overcome the worry of this? How long does it take to feel safe? How do you accept the embarrassment of something happening in front of strangers? Any other tips, suggestions would be greatly appreciated. I know life is different now, but I would love to feel somewhat like myself.
Boogie, we were just talking about this.
I said, this is just the new you. You just gotta fit into this body that you have that you can't get out of. You now have epilepsy. Live with precautions and
It's gonna be a little process. You're gonna have to go through acceptance, and
yeah.
yeah,
The embarrassment of having seizures in front of people, I gave up on being embarrassed. Yeah, no longer embarrassed by it.
I
Um,
ain't embarrassed by my seizures.
what was you guys' initial reaction when you were diagnosed? Me personally, I didn't understand it, and I wasn't from a place where people cared to understand it. So when it was like, "Oh, you have epilepsy," I left the emergency room and I went home, and they diagnosed. They gave me some pills, and never even looked up what epilepsy was or anything. Just like, okay, I have seizures. That's what it is. Yeah. I was 16, so excuse me for being a whole lot careless. Just yeah, I'll just take the pills and I don't need to know what's going on.
Yeah, I was 14, so
Yeah.
I was 24, and I think for me and my husband it was more of a well shit kind of reaction. Like, okay, well, what next?
Right.
Yes. Yeah, I was 12. I mean, it didn't really grasp on me either, but I mean, the doctors scared me. I mean, but like it didn't really, yeah, it didn't really mean anything. Nothing at that age really, you know, re everything kind of bounces off you when you're that young. But, the doctors were walking in and out of the room with charts and stuff and saying, you know, oh, is it a tumor? Is it a cancer? I don't think so. And they're throwing those words around. I mean, that scares the shit out of you. I mean, so I mean, that scared me. I mean, so I remember being scared by that, by the doctors and stuff.
Yeah. Hey, Brandon. What was your response to after your diagnosis? Oh, I see you. Jeff, what was your response?
I was in denial. I was 75. I've had chronic pain for 30 years. And all of a sudden, this comes along. And I spent almost 9 months in the house thinking I was sick. And then I finally realized I wasn't. And I started my life up again.
Brandon, you got something?
I guess I'm kind of with you, Pookie, where I was just sort of didn't really know much about it. Just was like, oh, I guess this means I have seizures, and now I have to take these pills. Um, Although I did start like doing a bunch of like Googling and stuff, but it, it wasn't until I really started meeting other people that I like learned more about it and stuff.
We didn't have Google.
Yeah, we didn't have Google in the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good thing. You guys had Google. You guys can Google something, and yeah, that isn't the case in the early 2000s when I got it.
Well, now the kids got, you know, Reddit pages.
Now they got Chat GPT. They don't
Yeah.
even need Google.
We got to go to the landline internet. And if
Right.
somebody went on the phone and cut off your internet.
Right. So yeah. Let's see. In one of the comments after the diagnosis, this person says their response was shock. Then I attempted to ignore my epilepsy. Then I had a seizure while driving and lost my license. Now I have had 5 brain surgeries and I'm still grieving. I feel for you. Another comment says, same, switching from Keppra to Lamictal help. But the anxiety of going anywhere without my husband is always there. Plus, not being able to drive makes the isolation so much worse. I live in the US, so walkable cities with reliable public transit basically doesn't exist. What? Not to be a downer, but in 4 years since the diagnosis, I have not felt like myself the way I did before. Hopefully, your experience gets better. What caught me was in the middle of this person's comment. They said, I live in the US, so walkable cities with reliable public transit basically doesn't exist. I'd like to know where this person is at because I have good public transit out here.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
There's no city in this country, a large city that doesn't have reliable public transportation.
Yeah. I don't know where this person is. But yeah, after my diagnosis, it was just a lot of denial. And didn't know much about it. Once I figured out a little bit, I did know about it. I was like, hey, I'm going about my life. I'm a child. Do regular high school boy shit. And yeah. And I was putting myself in bad situations, just being careless. Someone says, I had so many seizures, I forgot that a paramedic was filing assault charges on me. I got a call today from the sheriff to let me know that a paramedic I accidentally hit during a grand mal had his case dismissed by the DA, but also to let me know that the medics still aren't happy about it. So now I basically just, like, the only people I can call 911 for help are out to get me. The guy didn't even drop his case. It had to be dismissed by the DA. I've already had friends come and let me know the medic was talking at the local bar about what I did. I literally don't leave my house for fear of I'll have a seizure and be out the way place. And now I have this extra pair to stress to deal with. Yeah, I read that exactly how it looked. So you guys like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
I don't like. What's the question there, really?
There was really no question. They said it
Yeah,
was a question,
Sounds
but
like
sounds like
more
a
of a
rant.
rant.
yeah, that's what it looks like.
That is ridiculous of a, medical professional, in that situation where it's like this person is very obviously not doing this to you on purpose. Like it is wild that the charge was filed at all, but obviously that's what the DA thought, where they were like, no, this is ridiculous. We're not doing that.
If that's what the guy thinks about being an EMT enough to file a report against a patient, then he shouldn't be in that line of work.
Yeah. One of the comments is, that's fucked up. Filing charges for something you can't help. There needs to be more education on epilepsy other than put a wall in his mouth. Oh, you must be possessed. Only sensitivity to strobe lights pissing your pants is a sign of a real seizure. If I were you, I would try and explore the options with your attorney and see if he has or can make an example of that troglodyte paramedic, counter sue restraining order, etc. I'm not exactly sure what troglodyte means. Anybody heard that?
That's
Uh,
like a an insult meaning like an unintelligent person, kind of like
yeah.
caveman-esque, but it doesn't mean caveman exactly. It's I don't know.
Isn't it like
And
an
they use
extinct
this like
animal?
I'm sorry.
I thought it was like an extinct animal or something.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like Neanderthal or something, but I don't think it's a hominid. I'm not sure. I should just look it up, right?
Yeah, it says a person who lived in a cave, hermit, especially in
Caveman.
prehistoric
Hey,
times. The
hey.
derogatory term is a person regarded as being ignorant and reactionary in their views. For an example says, there might still be troglodytes in boardrooms who are unaware of the climate change. It's a derogatory term, it says. So you guys are right. Another comment says, did he try and restrain you or something? He can't have been handling the situation correctly. It sounds like he needs to be more aware of what to do. The OP responded, I don't even remember. I was apparently seasoned on the floor and somehow managed to come up and hit him with the right hand. The thing that's really upsetting is a few days later, I hear through a friend of a friend that he was at the local bar drinking and talking with his friends about the incident. So not only is he trying to take me to court for something I did while not fully conscious, but he's also dragging my name through the mud. This must be a small town.
Isn't
Someone said
that?
that's a HIPAA violation.
Yeah, yeah, hell yeah.
Um, what's exactly HIPAA? I don't even know exactly what that is. Is that like,
It's basically a law that says that EMTs, nurses, doctors, etc. can't speak about their patients because patient rights require privacy for their cases.
Health information
Yeah, they can't share it
privacy.
even with
So,
courts.
Accountability Act? Nice. Um, yeah. Yeah, being the person at the bar saying stuff, yeah, you can call HIPAA, right? Like I said, that sounds like a small town. Got something else here. It says, I just need support. I saw a post on here about epilepsy lowering lifespan, and I guess I just don't know what to feel or do with that information. I think the answer is to do nothing and once again acceptance. But is it just honestly never occurred to me, and I've never discussed this with my doctors. I'm seeing it can be over a decade taken off her life. I already struggle with finding reality tricky after having a lot of seizures, and this just made me a little tougher and less real. The ironic part is stressing over this could even cost more. For context, I usually only have absent seizures, but have had the occasional convulsion. I just don't know what to do with about this information or what to think about it. I try my hardest to be healthy and stay active and work out, but I'm always pulled back into the cycle of having a seizure, not being able to continue working out and staying active. I just feel like I'm stuck in one place. No matter how much ambition I may have, I'm a little heartbroken and devastated, and at the same time, I'm completely numb.
I mean, I haven't heard of epilepsy causing a shorter lifespan, but I know that stress can. And I mean, if anyone's a good example of you can live longer than what they say you can, is my dad. He's had 15 heart attacks, a quad bypass, 3 strokes, 2 or 3 strokes. I can't remember exactly how many, but a lot. And any one of those things could have killed him. And somehow he's still here and he's 70 years old. And so, um, if you take good care of yourself, if you have a good will, strong will to continue thriving and living, I don't think there's anything to concern yourself about your lifespan being shorter. Just have to take it one day at a time, you know?
Yeah, I never really thought about it. I never even looked that up to know anything about that. Thoughts, you guys?
Mark?
Yeah, so I don't know how nerdy you necessarily want an answer to get, but there's something that might, I don't know. I don't know if it would be helpful or not, but there's a difference between um, descriptive statistics and predictive statistics. So when you see things that say, numbers like epileptics have what, 10 years shorter lifespan, whatever, that number um, is taking into account the group of epileptics as a whole and describing the group. That's all those really numbers are meant to do. It doesn't mean that each individual epileptic person can expect to live 10 years less. There's a lot of reasons that epileptic people might have a shorter life, like SUDEP, um, but these things don't mean that, you know, um, that you should be expecting to, or planning your life around any sort of expectation. Each individual person still has the potential to live, um, based on their own individual situation, and that's something that those descriptive statistics do not take into account. They um, can't um,
Accumulate for
I'm
every
sorry.
individual.
Yes, yeah. I'm
Because
I
one person
lost.
might be really sick and other person might be healthier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely
Definitely.
true.
Yeah. Oofy.
I mean, yeah, I think you should definitely plan for life and not plan for death, even though just because you heard a statistic, yeah, that's good thinking. I
Yeah.
know, yeah, yeah.
Got something else here. Says, have any of you ever been traumatized in a hospital setting? They thought I was having a panic attack, seizure-like symptoms, but my chart says I have epilepsy and seizures. I was left alone for 35 minutes while a nurse looked at my chart and accused me of having ridiculously panic attacks and had 5+, so seizures during that time. Don't remember much, coming in and out of consciousness and worrying I was about to die, and then asking help, and no one answered during that time, trying to sleep and recover since discharge has been traumatic and stressing. That was her example of being traumatized in a hospital setting.
I think far too many of us have been traumatized.
Talk about it. What's going on? I was
I was left
traumatized.
in the ER for, I think it was, I want to say 5 hours alone, unmedicated, sitting in pee, completely soaked. It was bad.
Sorry to hear that. Mine was, I was in the hospital and this one lady, she was trying to put the thing around my nose and she was just going all through my hair, and I was like trying to tell her, calm down, like I can do this, like you don't know what you're doing, throwing my hair everywhere and pulling my hair and stuff. And she screamed. And I told them I'm leaving. And then they asked why, and then they made her come apologize because otherwise I was out of there. I'm just trying to get some breathing stuff, and I don't even need it. I just had a seizure, but they said I needed that, but just the way she was going about it made me want to leave because, yeah,
Yeah,
she
it
was
doesn't
being a
sound
little
comfortable.
careless. Yeah, then they made her come apologize, and it was funny on the inside. Um, Hospital experiences, you guys?
I've only been twice. Every other one that I've had, I was able to, like, it was either the EMTs came and I just told them, like, I don't, I don't want to get in the ambulance sort of thing. But oh shit, where was I going with this? So I don't really have like a lot of like, well, for seizures, I've only been twice. I've been to the hospital for other situations where a little traumatic, and it was same as it just getting left in the ER for like hours. Um, but I'm curious about the original post, like sort of what this person's race and gender is, because that always makes a difference in like hospital treatment. You know, um, it you may get different reactions from nurses and doctors. You know, if you skin color or you're a woman or something. So
So, I met this girl, did a one-on-one with her the night that happened. She was in the hospital with the stuff all over her head, and we did the one-on-one. I actually posted it. Check it out. But she does have epilepsy. And who else was talking? Angel, did you have something? One of the comments says, It says, I was traumatized in a hospital setting, but not because of my epilepsy. I had major surgery and was given morphine afterwards. When I woke up, I told the nurse I didn't feel right. Something seemed off, and I thought I was running a fever. They kept discussing it because they were using a thermometer under my tongue, but I was drinking ice cold water like mad because I felt so hot. Yes, old stupid thermometers. Eventually I told them I think something is seriously messed up, and it was either from the surgery or the medication. They assured me I was overthinking things because I have epilepsy. I was placed in a room by the nurse's station. I could hear them complaining about how I keep bothering them, and you'd think I'd be sleepy after such a major surgery. I was only asleep for about 4 hours after my surgery. Believe me, I wanted to sleep. I was exhausted. It wasn't until 6 a.m. and the next nurse shift changed when the nurse noticed how much water I had drunk, but hadn't once gone to urinate. They were keeping track of that because of my surgery. That plus my face and neck looked swollen and like huge because I had retained so much fluids. She actually touched my forehead and her eyes got big and said, "You're burning up." I said, "I know." I kept telling the nurses, but they kept dismissing me. I told them the thermometers they were using wouldn't work because I was drinking ice water. She grabbed the thermometer and my temp was 103.4. They immediately took me off the morphine and they put me on a different opiate pain reliever. Same thing, fever, kidney shutting down further, retaining more fluids. I looked like Jabba the Hutt by then. My face and neck were so swollen, apparently I'm allergic to all the opiates. Good times finding out. Needless to say, I was traumatized because I was helpless. My stomach had been cut open. I couldn't move. I was stitched up, unable to walk, feverish, sick after a surgery, and people charged to take care of me weren't hearing me when I said the basic things. There was something wrong. They only looked at the thermometer and didn't listen to my words. If one of them would have touched my skin, it would have been verified. Dude, she's not hot. Didn't they think didn't they think to take to didn't they care to think to do their job? Needless to say, once I was better, I definitely let the hospital and my insurance company know with multiple letters, emails, and phone calls. That sounds very traumatizing. Hi, Rose. Welcome back. Long time no see.
Hi, Rose.
The icebreaker question was, what is something you do to make you feel better when you feel like shit?
I mean, eating should not be my first answer, but I like good food. And I draw like way too much too.
It's a good one. I'm move forward with this one though. We got this one. It's really long, so you guys got to listen. I'm not going to remember most of it. It says, "Gut it. I can't listen to music without risking a seizure alone. Had a TC last night after 6 weeks with no seizures, not even partials. I was diagnosed with TLE in 2018 after 2 nocturnal seizures. I'd been having partials unknown to me for months, but the doctor had diagnosed them as panic attacks. After a few years, it seemed to become apparent. Music was a trigger. Initially thought it was hormones, as I always seemed to get them at that time of the month, biologically female. I had a seizure at my desk after getting off the phone with an American person and a couple when watching YouTube videos and with American narrators. So then I thought it was American accents. But then I had a partial when watching a cooking video by an English chef. So it does seem to be auditory. I had a bad one on the bus while listening to Spotify on my headphones. Then it seemed to only be music triggering the TCs, so I stopped listening to music. No radio or Spotify or YouTube music videos. Since then, my TCs have been few and far between. In the last 6 weeks, I've been fine. I get partials about once a week, so that this was unusual. Yesterday, I was smug, thinking I was cured. Yes, I know, stupid and arrogant. Sat at my desk working. After so long, Spotify seemed like a chocolate box full of treats. I chose the songs and really enjoyed them. After 11 songs, I had a partial seizure and felt so sick. I Googled, why do partial seizures cause nausea? Paused my music. My partner came home to find me unconscious, cardigan covered in blood and drool, blood on the desk. I came round to him staring at me with concern. Doing the usual mitigation to calm down, he was amused. I had Googled my symptoms. I'm so upset. My tongue is mangled. I smashed my foot against my desk. My whole body aches after the muscle contractions. Though the body music was good, I guess it wasn't worth it. There is no doubt now that I have musicogenic epilepsy. There's not that much about it online. Can anyone share their experiences? Is it the type of music I'm listening to? It doesn't make sense. When I'm at work, part-time in a shop, the radio is constantly on, but I've never had a seizure there. And I've worked there for 2 years, but when I volunteered at a charity shop, I was listening to a Madness CD while steaming clothes, and after 2 songs, boom. When I'm very drunk, like a little bottle of wine or two, I can watch YouTube videos, mostly 80s music, and I'm okay too. I just don't understand this. That was a lot. Music has not bothered me, but is that an actual type of epilepsy? Musicogenic?
I saw that as a tag on somebody's name, under somebody's name on r/epilepsy, but I've never met anybody so far or spoken to anybody with it so far.
Yeah, I never met anybody or spoken to anybody. It might be vibrations that are setting them off. He mentioned drinking. I don't, they.
Yeah, it says musogenic epilepsy is a form of reflex epilepsy with seizures elicited by special stimuli. It has probably been described for the first time in 1605 by the French philosopher scholar Joseph Justus Scaliger. Yeah,
I
that's
have great
interesting.
advice for her.
Huh? Go ahead,
If I couldn't
Brandon.
listen to music, I'd kill myself.
Say that one more time, Jeff.
I don't have any real good advice, but all I do all day is listen to music. And if I couldn't, I would just kill myself.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine.
hard. But go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I hate to bring it up because obviously like not a great topic, but like in the military, they torture people by playing, very loud like music that hits tones that set things off in people's brain. Um and so it wouldn't surprise me if like whatever they were listening to maybe like could have caused a
Skinny
problem. I don't know what it
puppy.
was. But at the same time, they were drinking, right? Did it say they were drinking as
Yeah,
well?
a small bottle of wine.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it there's a lot, or there's a few factors there that could have just combined and not worked out so well.
Yeah, the wine could also be a thing.
I guess I would also check any other triggers to aggravate this. It's mentioned this person had a seizure at work.
I believe they said they didn't have one at work while the radio was playing.
Did okay. Sure. I could have sworn but either had one at work or while drinking. Uh, Either way, just check for triggers, anything. Uh, yeah, anything that would just add to this. I mean, just I don't know. That's why people, with the nanny cams and anything, keep your seizure journal to check your, I don't know, water levels, your diet, anything, just to see what might be aggravating us in addition to the music.
I wonder too if it's similar to photosensitivity, whereas like, because I have mild photosensitivity, they said, where it's like only at a specific uh speed. And so I wonder if the reason that it's not triggering them at work is because it's maybe not like directly in their ear or next to them, or if because some types of music have different frequencies as well. So I wonder if that's something that they could look into.
You okay, Pookie?
Yeah. Garbage.
Oh,
Garbage is under my desk.
I thought you were falling over.
No. Got the back massager on this chair. Love me.
I wonder if the earbuds have anything to do with those seizures. I don't know. Like I don't know. Like I'm just throwing theories out there.
Did you just say
Music,
AirPods?
yeah. You think that might be affecting that musicogenic? That might be making it more um uh making it worse by any chance if a person is listening to it at work and it's just in the air as opposed to directly in their ears? Could it be making it more severe, the vibrations? Because earbuds do make it stronger,
Well,
the
yeah,
vibrations.
it's like more in your ear than even just like regular headphones like these. But the AirPods themselves, I don't think they have any. My husband explained this a while back to my mom because she asked if my AirPods were causing my seizures, and he works in like electrical engineering and stuff like that, and he knows like how they're made, but I can't remember how he explained it. But I think it's more, yeah, it'd be like more like the sound levels, like the amount of sound being put into your brain at that frequency, maybe.
Yeah, I get this notification once a week. It tells me I've listened to my music loud enough for too long this week.
Like earbuds.
That's earpods. I mean, they let you know you've been listening too loud for this amount of time. This could affect your hearing. I think Apple, they do that to avoid lawsuits because they know what's going on. So
Yeah, I
I've
get that
never
alert
known it
too.
to cause seizures, but that doesn't mean it's not possible. Yeah, I usually don't listen to it. My hearing is bad already. Yeah, there was one in the comments here. One of the comments was actually someone saying certain things I could listen to, I can't listen to anymore for the very reason I've lost all music. Yet, if I have a seizure while doing something, I get PTSD type seizures every time after that. If I happen to have seizures listening to a certain song, it becomes a trigger. Wow. So here's another one. It says I was diagnosed with musicogenic epilepsy around 20 years ago. I'd been training as a pianist basically my whole life. Had my first public seizure on the first day I graduated high school. On the first day it's graduated high school when I was taking a class where the instructor played a series of chords on the piano. So it comes mostly from playing, but also listening, and a few times even from reading music, only pieces that I know how to play. I mostly have complex partial seizures, occasionally TCs, not for years, identified on VEEG as originating in my right temporal lobe. Took up some other instruments when the piano became impossible, but all of them have resulted in seizures, except singing, maybe because I have a terrible voice. I'm reasonably well controlled with all my meds and can still play sometimes, but it's scary because I never know how bad it might get. After being on the safest medication regimen for childbearing years, I have 2 fortunately healthy kids. I'm ready to start pushing for a new treatment plan that might have a shot at getting me back to my former self, musically speaking. I've been on the Motrigine for years and it's okay, but not a magic bullet. I've had very bad reactions to Keppra, Tobamax, Trileptal, thinking of adding Vimpat. Let me know if you want to talk more about it. I've done a bunch of research on musicogenic epilepsy. Though there's not a whole lot out there in the scholarly literature. All that said, does anyone have an epileptologist in the NYC area they'd recommend? I've been working with a general neurologist for the past 2 years, and she's clearly out of her depth with a rarity of my diagnosis. Thanks in advance, and sympathies to y'all who have struggled with epilepsy of this kind or any kind.
Please take your medication as prescribed or whatever works for you. We're not doctors.